hands and the girls and the big bald man. You better not assume my pronouns. You ain't got a clue what I feel inside. Shake my ass while I play.
Just a little reminder. The Wicked Witch is still dead. Good evening, and thank you for joining me here for Conversations with Taz for Freeform Friday. And as you know, it's just a potpourri of everything and try to lighten it up as you begin your weekend. And boy, do we have some doozies. You know what? Let's start with this one. It's the longest video of the night, so let's go ahead and get that out of the way before people get too comfortable with their snacks and beverages. Trump's having a meltdown. Let's take a look.
On Wednesday, it was announced that the DOJ is in possession of a tape where Donald Trump allegedly says that not only did he take classified documents back with him to Mar-a-Lago after he left the White House, but that he also did not declassify them, which of course blows a massive hole into his entire legal defense. And this story was broken by CNN on Wednesday. So that evening, apparently just deciding to be a glutton for punishment, Trump lawyer Jim Trusty decided to go on CNN to defend his client, and everything from there went badly for Mr. Trusty. First, he started off a little combative. He was talking to hosts Caitlin Collins and Abby Phillip. Phillip first asked him, hey, this audio allegedly has Trump saying he didn't declassify him, but you say he did declassify him. What's going on with that? And Trusty said, yes, and he personalized them. He personalized it. So what does that mean? Like, you wrote his name on it? Like, I don't understand what that means. Like, he personalized them. But then, before Phillip could really get another question in, Trusty interrupted her and said, quote, I'm not going to try the case. I am not trying my case based on leaks that you want to celebrate. So he immediately went from answering a simple question about the conflicting reports from Donald Trump himself to getting combative, saying, I'm not trying this case right here, right now for any of you. Okay, well, rule number one, when you get defensive like that, literally out of nowhere, kind of makes it seem like you've got something to hide or that you're panicked or scared. And I'm willing to bet it was probably all three of those for Mr. Trusty. He then went on to accuse the DOJ, the FBI, of somehow making all of this up. Here's what Mr. Trusty said. What I'm telling you is when DOJ and FBI are on a leak campaign where they're selectively taking half-truths and mistruths, complete falsehoods, and putting them out there to Caitlin Collins and you guys to dangle out here on TV, I'm not going to respond to that. I'm not going to justify their behavior by acting if it's actual fact. It's just not. Then why did you agree to go on CNN? It's a valid question, right, Mr. Trusty? CNN reached out to you. It said, Mr. Trusty, we want you to come on to talk about this big story because you're Trump's lawyer. Mr. Trusty at that point said, yes, I will come on CNN to talk about this story because I'm Trump's lawyer. He then gets on the air and says, I'm not going to talk about this. So why'd you do it? Why'd you agree to come on? Did you just want to get your face out there? Did you want to spread your own half-truths and mistruths by alleging that the DOJ and FBI are somehow selectively leaking material that you say is completely untrue? Because that wouldn't make any sense at all for those investigatory bodies to do that. They don't have to make their case to the American public. They have to make it in court. So leaking anything to the public doesn't benefit them whatsoever. So I don't know why you're getting all testy, but you again seem panicked, scared, and of course, most importantly, like you're trying to hide something, which we're all pretty sure is, of course, the case here. He then went on to say, yeah, I know I'm getting boring for your ratings, but I am not going to try the case. It's being set up by leaks that I don't believe are accurate. Oh, you don't believe they're accurate. So now we've gone from they're totally false to, well, I don't believe they're accurate. And you're being boring, so CNN's not getting the ratings. So again, it comes back to the question, why'd you even agree to go on? You do realize when a network or even another show, podcast, whatever it is, when they ask you to come on their show, you can just say, no. That's it. You don't even have to give them a good reason. Or you can just totally make something up. But you agreed to come on the show to talk about this specific issue, and then you got mad that they asked you about this specific issue that they already told you they were going to ask you about. Now, in defense of Mr. Trusty, I do think it's worth pointing out that this poor guy is in a unwinnable situation at this point. I mean that both, personally and professionally, because I don't think they can win this case at all if Donald Trump is indicted.
Trump's having a meltdown. His legal team is consistently having meltdowns. They are doing about as good a job of representing him as he is doing representing himself. Piss poor at best. Piss poor at best. I now see how he's compiled the attorneys that he has compiled. I personally am wondering how they've had legal careers for this long, because they cannot keep it together whatsoever. Like, not even a little bit. They are just as unhinged as him. And instead of no comment, pleading the fifth, not taking interviews, all of them are so addicted to attention and press and camera time that they just, and they really want all of us to not believe what we see with our own eyes and hear with our own ears. Like, this is not the high school cafeteria. Yes, this legal team is like something off of SNL. It if it wasn't real life, you just can't make this up. You can't make it up. And they don't even, it's not even as if they're following a script. It's not even as if, it's like Trump at least hire a PR team and follow their instructions. But Trump is so full of himself, and he gets attorneys that are full of themselves. And they truly, I believe that they truly think that they can make a name for themselves with these cases that they're undertaking for him. But yeah, it's not a positive name. And it's like none of them are looking at the demise of Rudy Giuliani. But hey, well, this week marks a critical anniversary regarding the Tulsa massacre. And there is a survivor that is still fighting for justice. Pay close attention.
I'm a survivor of the Tulsa Race Massacre. I'm here seeking justice, and I'm asking my country to acknowledge what happened in Tulsa in 1921. The night of the massacre, I was awakened by my family. My parents and 5 siblings were there. I was told we had to leave, and that was it. I will never forget the violence of the white mob when we left our home. I still see black men being shot, black bodies lying in the street. I still smell smoke and see fire. I still see black businesses being burned. I still hear airplanes flying overhead. I hear the screams. I have lived through the massacre every day. Our country may forget this history, but I cannot. I will not. and other survivors do not, and our descendants do not. When my family was forced to leave Tulsa, I lost my chance of an education. I never finished school past the 4th grade. I have never made much money in my country. State and city took a lot from me. Despite this, I spent time supporting the war effort in the shipyards of California, but most of my life I was a domestic worker serving white families. I never made much money, but to this day I can barely afford my everyday needs. I'm asking that my country acknowledge what has been happened to me, the traumas and the pain, the loss, and I ask survivors and descendants to be given the chance to seek justice, open the door. For 70 years, the city of Tulsa and its stream of commerce told us that the massacre didn't happen, like we didn't see it with our own eyes. You have me here right now. You see Mother Randall, you see my brother Hughes Van Ellis. We live this history and we can't ignore it. We lost everything that day, our homes, our churches, our newspapers, our theaters, our lives. Greenwood represented all the best of what was possible for Black people in America and for all the people. No one cared about us for almost 100 years. We and our history have been forgotten, washed away. This Congress must recognize us and our history. For Black America, for the white Americans, and for all Americans.
For additional information regarding the Tulsa Race Massacre and all things Tulsa, you can go to tulsahistory.org. You see it scrolling across the bottom of the screen. I bring up Tulsa and the Red Summer and other horrific events because we know white supremacists, racists, love to say, well, why don't you fix your communities? Why don't you get your own? If you're so great, you built this country, why can't you build your own communities? Why can't you build them up? Because each time we build them up, they tear them down, they bomb them, they burn them, they massacre people, they come into our spaces just to wreak havoc. Just to wreak havoc. So how? How are we supposed to flourish and get ahead? Legalized segregation is still going on in certain cities across the United States. Sundown towns still exist. Redlining is still occurring. Neighborhoods and cities are overly policed. But yeah. Now, before we move on, let's break this up with a little humor because it is Friday night.
I saw my dad get knocked out one time right in front of me. I was 8 years old. This guy hit my dad 2 times in the same spot. Quickest 2 punches I've ever seen in my life. Hit my dad so fast, in the middle of the fight, my dad stopped fighting and asked me what happened. In the middle of the fight. Kevin, hey, he just hit me twice. Yes, he did. Are you sure it was him? It's only y'all 2 out here, Dad. Ain't nobody else out here with y'all. So he that fast? They not ganging up on me? No, Dad. Well, he must be an octopus. What?
Now, we know that especially after the overturn of Roe v. Wade, there are a lot of Christians, and I'm using this term very loosely, that are trying to convince women that There's nothing greater than being a mother, and trying to get everybody that's white to go out and have a baby and no abortions. You don't need that, even though it's healthcare, basic healthcare for women. And the counter argument is you're forcing people to be born, but what are you doing to ensure that they're taken care of? Who's going to protect these children? Well, here's a group of people that were asked a particular question about their own children directly. Pay attention to who's saying what, and pay attention to how long it takes for people to answer this question. You'll understand as you watch. And don't drink anything while you watch this, because you might, just a warning.
That's so easy to answer.
Because, if I don't, who will? I almost died having them, so I'll kill for them.
It's like mom to the rescue. Double up the cape because we already wear one.
Would you kill for your child?
No.
No, I don't think I would kill for my children, but I do think I would be mouthy enough that somebody might murder me standing up for my children.
You don't think these things through when you do them, right? It's your mom instinct, your mama bear will come out.
If he was in danger, I would protect him, mama bear style.
Mama bear mode goes on real hard with me, so in the right circumstances, yeah, if I'm gonna save my kid's life, I'm gonna do it.
What's the most mama bear thing you've had to do?
I haven't had to do anything too crazy.
Okay, well, I have had altercations, but it wasn't my fault.
Have there been situations where you had to step in?
Well, my daughter, she is openly gay. I have defended her, I have kept her safe.
My oldest is trans, and there's been a lot of bullying.
Would you cuss out a kid for your kid?
I actually did at a pool one time. I was like, you little shit, get away from my kid right now.
Yes, I went Karen, full Karen on them. There have been little moments on the playground, but I can't fight a child, so.
We don't want to get into a situation where I'm beating you up and I'm beating your parents up.
I almost beat up another parent. Her son kept hitting my daughter and she's like, oh, they're just playing. And I'm like, ma'am, hello, do you want me to hit you like that? And she's like, oh, well, we'll just leave.
How far have you had to go to protect your kid?
Like a physical fight.
Who'd you have to fight?
A family member.
I have cut my parents off.
I had to fight my child's father.
Would you kill for your children? Did you catch who said no, or they had caveats under the right circumstances? Oh, you have to think. I do not care how immature you think that I am. Every single time, I'm going to choose my children over you. Every single time. If I got to take you out of here and send you to your ancestors, so be it. So be it. You can call it ghetto, you can call it savage, you can call it whatever the hell you want. I don't have to think about it. I'm not worried about who's watching. I'm not worried about the circumstances. I do not care, okay? I will do what I have to do, plop my happy ass down on the curb, light up, and wait for them to come and arrest me. Unequivocally. Unequivocally. And it's funny how the woman said, I'll go full Karen to the point where they might murder me. We have all seen white women go up to wild animals, legitimately wild animals, feral cats even, and try to make pets out of them. And, oh, I gotta save them. Claim that they're in danger and be on the phone and up in somebody's face just to be in control of someone else. When I tell you that they are individualistic, this is what I mean. You can call the police for somebody bird watching. You can put somebody else's child's life in danger, but you're not going to step in front of. And this also goes to explain why more parents are not stepping forward for gun reform. With all of the children that are in school, from daycare to pre-K, all the way through college. Because none of these places have been immune to gun violence. You gonna tell me all of those parents out there, if all of them spoke up, there wouldn't be change? This is why. This is the same reason that all of a sudden parents started forgetting their kids in hot cars. They don't never forget them in the wintertime. Same schedule, exact same schedule, running the exact same errands, going to the exact same places. Have you noticed those kids ain't never left in the car in the wintertime, in the fall, in the summer, in the spring? Nope, just in the summertime on the hottest possible days. All of a sudden, you got a memory lapse. How? How? Ain't no way. Let's take a pause for the cause. Check out this month's Juneteenth and Pride ad, and I'll be back with you in 2 and 2.
I don't dance, I just float, 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 float. I don't dance, I just float, 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 float. I just float. I'm light as a feather, I'm light as a feather, yeah baby I float. It's hard to look at my resume and not find a reason to toast. She throwing that thing in a circle, making it viral, I might just elope. Say listen.
Give me one margarita, I'ma open my legs. Give me 2 margaritas, I'ma give you some head. Give me 3 margaritas, I'ma put it in my puss. Give me 4 margaritas, I'ma put it in my tush. Give me 5 margaritas, 5 margaritas, 5 margaritas.
Girl, you're working with some ass hand. Your bad jam, make a nigga spend his cash hand. His last hand.
You never know what to expect on a Friday. But to the story before we took the break, yes, some people should not be parents. And this is why it is important to stop pushing people into relationships, into marriages, into parenthood. Like, oh, you should. When are you going to have kids? When are you going to have kids? Everybody does not need to have kids. Everybody does not have maternal or paternal instincts. Everybody does not have the patience that it takes to be a parent. A lot of people don't even realize parenthood is a lifetime commitment. Because I'm sorry, I do consider some folks some deadbeats when their kids turn 18 and they are just like, they're grown, they're cut off, they can't ask me for nothing, no advice, no that. What? You think life situations aren't going to come up where they're going to need your advice because you've been on this planet longer? You think that just because they're 18, they have everything figured out, but then you get pissed off at the 18-year-old that wants to argue with you as if they know everything because y'all keep acting like they have a full aptitude of adulthood at 18. Hell, they're still trying to figure out their damn high school graduation at this point. They haven't even put together a collegiate schedule yet. They ain't had to work full time yet. Outside of their cell phone bill and maybe a car insurance bill, they haven't had to budget. They haven't had to find their voice to speak up for themselves in the world yet. Pish posh. Now, we know that wokeness and CRT are the new buzzwords that are all over every place, and everybody who uses those two terms as buzzwords can never define them. They're just outraged that they exist. So I know the video says mansplaining, but this is white-splaining 100%. Take a look.
Important that our classrooms are...
I'm just asking which one is better.
Let her answer the question, please.
My question is this.
She will answer it if she sees fit.
Which one is better?
It's important.
this.
It's important that children's identity
That's
and
not
language
answering my
and
question.
culture are recognized.
That's not answering my question.
And that's what creates strong executive
Okay,
function.
if you don't want to answer my question, that's fine. Let's move on down the panel. Which one is better to be taught? This book or the Jesus Loves Me lyrics that says everybody's skin doesn't matter. They're all precious in His sight.
I think it's important to teach that all children are seen and valued for who they are, and that's
So,
what
but when you
makes
teach this, don't you think that other people are start saying that white kids are to blame?
I think it's
It's
important.
exactly what they're going to teach. It's exactly what it is, ma'am.
I disagree. First, it is important that we teach Jesus. And
Absolutely.
Jesus is what we teach.
So which one is
But
better?
the reality is...
So do you think this is
Could
the
she
right
answer
thing?
the question, please?
I don't want reality. I'm asking the question, which one is better? That's exactly what it is.
Got it on tape.
Misspoke. So what I'm saying is which.
I don't want reality. Isn't it amazing that Christians want the ability to practice what they believe freely, but want to impose their beliefs on everyone else, but claims that everyone else is pushing their beliefs down their throat? But it's Christians that'll go door to door. It's Christians that will proselytize to you out in public. So what about little Jewish children? Children that are atheists? Children whose parents are just allowing them to go through life, and if they choose religion, they can choose religion later. What about Muslim children, Hindu children, Buddhist children? So instead of teaching actual history, because white people did create the hierarchy of race and the concept of race and the social construct of race, instead of teaching actual history, he doesn't want reality. He wants song lyrics taught to children. So what now? Sex ed is going to be WAP? Which will probably be better than the sex ed that they currently have. And isn't it amazing? You notice how conservatives, when the cameras are on in these congressional meetings, they're not going for a solution. They're not going for discourse. They are going for sound bites and what they perceive to be gotcha moments. They aren't there for the people. He asked a question that cannot be answered yes or no, this or that, without explanation, because we all know follow-up questions are going to be asked, and he asked an open-ended question. But he wants to talk over everyone. And he wanted to talk over more so the Black woman than every other woman there. That's why they labeled it mansplaining. But if it would have been a man, if they would have gotten a male teacher up there that was the complexion for protection, how combative do you think he would have been, or would he have even included that man in his panel questioning? See, you cannot, in one breath, be proud of your Polish, German, French, Swedish ancestor that came over here and had $2 in her pocket and couldn't speak a lick of English and was involved in this and involved in that, and he was the head of this and the head of that, and then get mad when people are going to be taught what they were the head of, why your views are hypocritical, what your family was really involved in, why your family actually came to the United States. Because there are a whole lot of people who claim that their ancestors never owned slaves. But I bet you there's a chest that's being passed from family member to family member as people die, or ending up in a dumpster that has their family's ancestral slave records in it. There are white people who fled to the United States through Canada, not through Ellis Island, as they would love for you to believe. They just picked up on the American Dream story and adapted it to their family. Did a little change to the last name, kind of like the Trump family that you now know like Trump, because they were fleeing because of their ideologies. And when their ideologies were no longer favorable in their home countries. Think I'm joking? Let's look at when the Pilgrims decided to come over here and colonize the United States. Their tyrannical Protestant views were no longer popular in England. So they left to come over here so that, you know, they could make a place where their tyrannical Protestant views would be popular and accepted. Yeah, they're all there for appearance. They are there for appearance, and they want these gotcha moments to make sure that they get increased lobbyists that are going to line their pockets. They're there to make sure that they are reelected, because for them, being in Congress is just a power move. It's a get rich quick scheme. But as they're talking about CRT and wokeness, and now, as always, oh, pride is coming for our babies. They forget that they're bringing up these conversations in front of their children, increasing the inquisitiveness in their children. So guess what's happening now?
Siri Beth Rosenberg tweets out, "Thank you to all the right-wing nut jobs who talked about critical race theory all summer. My students could not wait for me to explain it to them and talk about structural racism. The topic of CRT never came up in the class until this year. Generation Z is going to love voting all the GOP out. Go Gen Z."
See, they forget that when you bring up conversations, children of all ages are paying attention to what you do. And even if you're not talking directly to them, you're talking to your friends, you're on the phone, you're making TikTok videos, whatever, you're putting up posts, and you're like, wait till I send this to Rebecca. This is what I wrote, honey. Go like my Facebook post. Your children hear you. They've already figured out you're not going to tell them the truth, because they know what the rest of us know, that y'all will lie to push forward your agenda and your talking points and your stance to try to get people to agree with you. So they're going to ask their teachers. They're going to ask that neighbor. They're going to ask the person on the bus. They're going to look it up on the internet for themselves. See, this isn't the time. This isn't the time. This isn't the era where a child may have needed to be driven to the library and go through the whole Dewey Decimal System in the card catalog in order to find the proper book to go find it, and hope that their local library had the most up-to-date so that they could get information. They have all of that and more at their fingertips. And with social media, they have the ability in real time to see the people that you're talking down about and how they really live and how they really act and what they're really doing and what they're really saying. So as you're fighting against wokeness and the LGBTQIA+ and CRT, your children are out here asking why. What is this? What does it mean? Because you've brought the concept into their stratosphere, where before they didn't even know. They didn't give a care to it in the world. See, nobody else is pushing anything down your throat or your children's throat. Y'all are doing it yourself. Because think about it. Conservatives found out about Dylan Mulvaney putting a Bud Light TikTok video on her TikTok account. If you're not about that life and you don't support the trans community, how do you know what she had on her page? Like instantly, within moments of her hitting post, they jumped on it and were sharing it to everybody. Y'all push things down your own throat. Y'all introduce the stuff that you don't want your kids to know about to your kids. And y'all gonna be in for a rude awakening when these kids can move out the house. And either you don't hear from them again, or they're going mano a mano with you, where they're checking and correcting you. Couldn't be me. Couldn't be me. Here's a little bit more humor for y'all. See you in 2 and 2.
My 3-year-old daughter is the queen of psychological warfare, and she thinks I'm gonna fucking give up. But I'm gonna tell you one thing right now, I don't negotiate with terrorists. As soon as she wakes up this morning, she's like, Dad, I want a snack. I'm like, all right, well, we got some brownie bites in the cabinet. Do you want some of those? She's like, we don't have any brownie bites. Keep in mind, she's 3. Yeah, we do. There's a whole cabinet full of brownie bites. Do you want some? We don't have any brownie bites. I swear to God, it's almost like I'm taking a fucking lie detector test. Now I have to march my 3-year-old attorney over to the fucking cabinet to show her we do, in fact, have fucking brownie bites. But we've only got like 3 packages left because I ate a gummy last night and ate like 4 packages of these bitches dipped in peanut butter at like 2 o'clock in the morning in my underwear in the kitchen. But that's besides the fucking point, okay? Moving forward. So I show them to her. I'm like, look, brownie bites. She looks at me. Those are brownie muffins. Says bites right on the package. I will die on this mountain. I said, no, they're called brownie bites. No, they're not. They're called brownie muffins. Fucker, can you read? So here I sit in the middle of the kitchen having an argument with a 3-year-old. I'm a grown-ass man. I'm 38 years old, keep in fucking mind. And I hear my wife go, hey, she's 3 years old. You know that, right? I said, what's this say? What's the package say? It says bites, brownie bites. Again, my 3-year-old from about, I don't know, fucking 3 foot off the ground. Oh, they're called brownie muffins. I said, honey, look, it says bites on the package. Then she says, it's okay. We'll just call them brownie muffin bites. Arguing with my 3-year-old's like trying to brush your teeth and eat an Oreo cookie at the same fucking time. It defeats all purposes.
What's your name?
Jesse.
Jesse. Pleasure to meet you. What do you do work-wise?
I take care of my 2 younger brothers.
You take care of your 2 younger brothers? What do you want to do after the kids are grown?
I was going to school for forensic anthropology.
You were going to school for forensic anthropology. What's that?
So basically, I would like look at dead bodies and try to figure out what happened to them.
Did you get to the point in the school where you were like face to face with a dead body?
No, I quit going to school because I almost myself.
Wait, hold on. What? Would you rather I not repeat that?
I don't care.
She stopped going to school because she started having some negative thoughts and wanted to focus on some health care, some self-care. We'll phrase it that way. She was not doing so well mentally, so her parents were like, here, watch our other 2 kids. Oh, fuck, Jesse! You're in no position! Oh my God. Well, good luck. I hope you don't end up looking at 2 more dead bodies. Whatever, you guys. Would you be like in like the morgue? Is that where like your work would take place?
Could be. I also thought about doing like field work, so like going where the body is.
Field work. Not a term I would be using in the South, but field of work, maybe. But I roasted you. I figured I at least owed you a conversation. So thanks for being so sweet. Don't put me in your note.
Now, the second video I included for a purpose, not for the comedy, which I'm using that word very loosely. But the mental health of daughters, especially if you're the eldest daughter or the only daughter, is not really taken seriously. It's taken seriously for a monochrome of time should you act on those thoughts. Then after that time passes, you're parenticized again. You're looked at automatically as being the second or third, parent. Always. Because instead of her being allowed to take the proper steps in self-care for her mental health, she's looking after her two younger siblings. And I bet you it's because mom and dad need a mental health break. They're too busy. They need a break. They chose to have those children. They brought them into this world. And see, when people go, oh, I love being a parent, it's because there's somebody else actually doing the parenting. There's somebody else doing the majority of the work. So they get to relish in the handful of good times that happen throughout the lifespan of the children. And before y'all come for me and go, Taz, what do you mean the handful of good times? It's a handful of good times. There are a handful in comparison to all the other bullshit that you have to deal with that you're like, yeah, that's my baby. Other times you're like, motherfucker, what the hell are you doing? What were you thinking? Why did you touch that after I told you not to touch it? Do you have any brain function? Why do I have to clean up after you again? Parenthood is the most tedious, ghetto, painstaking career that you could ever have. Because there's a bunch of munchkins with your DNA that act like from the time they can talk to the time you die, that they know more and better than you. And you got to just keep watching them run into the door, fall down, run into the door, fall down, run into the door, fall down, turn around and ask you, well, why didn't you open the door? Don't get me wrong. I love my children. But even to this day, I'll tell them, no, Ma, I know. 2 weeks later. Well, you know I was going through the situation. The one I told you could avoid. Well, that's beside the point. I need some advice. Not to do the shit in the first place. Listen to me the first time. Because, I've been here. And kids always think that parents have never had a life. Like we just came out the womb and then sprouted them out. Like we have zero life experience. None. Motherfuckers, how do you think we know how to keep your asses alive? Shit. Well, some of us know how to keep your asses alive. Some of us. Some of us. And then on top of that, you got to raise your kids and then eventually raise your fucking parents. And I'm saying this because I feel bad for my kids because they're now to the stage where they got to check on me. Okay, they got to send me a babysitter or come babysit me themselves. I feel bad for them. Y'all should feel bad for them too because I'm a damn handful. Okay, I have Black Air Force One energy. I know I do. I would not babysit me at the fuck all, like at all. Okay, I would leave me to my own devices and just let natural selection take its place. Okay, I'm just saying. You know me personally, you ever been in my presence or on the phone with me, you know I'm telling the damn truth. I ain't got no good damn sense. This is what makes me entertaining. Now to close out with our final video. If you've ever been trolled by a racist online or in real life, you know they're always talking about the South will rise again. When the race war comes, when the second civil war comes, we're coming. You ain't got nothing on us. I've been shooting since I was 2. I'm built Ford tough. The only thing you got right was Ford because he was a raging racist, so much so that Hitler looked up to him. But let me show you how their training is going. And I really didn't expect much from people who do not understand the concept of an organized and well-regulated militia, but love the Second Amendment. Take a look.
Make sure you're hitting on the ground when you walk. That clap is your left foot.
One thing I can't stand is an uncoordinated racist. Left, right. left, and then right. And then again, your left and your right. I mean, in Germany, they did them long leg marches and shit. You know, they looked like they was in the ballet. And they did that shit. They wasn't even looking where they was going. They was all up here looking at. And then you doing shit half-assed. You in the woods with no camouflage, got on half of a white hood and shit. Personally, I feel slighted. I deserve more than half of your hate. And I definitely deserve more than that uncoordinated, whatever the hell that was. You better march in step when you hate me. I'm for real. I need y'all to dress right, cover down. I need 40 inches all around. I need full military precision. And your ancestors would be ashamed of you. I mean, they marched holding torches and shit. And do you know how hard it is to see with that shit covering your face? Them two little holes that somebody's wife done made in the pillowcase. You know how hard it is to see through that shit in the dark? And where's your goddamn uniform? Y'all got on polo shirts and bowling shirts and graphic tees and shit. I mean, whoever hates me does not shop at Old Navy. Wearing tennis shoes and shit. I thought y'all should know that you train as you fight. I mean, where are your damn boots? I mean, every real racist got a pair of shit-kicking boots. How the hell you gonna roll up in the south side of Chicago and you can't even get your steps together? How you gonna prepare for a war and looking like you dressed to go for a shift at Walmart? Y'all preparing for the big war? You know the war I'm talking about. It's, you know, kind of rhyme with face. Before that shit start, y'all better about face back to them barracks and go back to basic training. Because them Bloods in Baltimore got a fully organized brigade. They do the Dougie and shit while doing drill. Crips crip walking while they in columns and shit. Get your shit together.
I know a handful of PTO moms that would bust their ass quickly, okay? All they got to do is not stop for one school bus. Them motherfuckers will convene on them like SWAT. But they out there, let. He ain't got no rhythm. You ain't got no rhythm. Told you I ain't got no damn sense. All right. Now, that was the final video. I do have one update for you all, and this is coming from CNN.com. Yeah, I know, but they're the ones that have it. I guess they're trying to redeem themselves after the whole Trump debacle. Judge seals evidence in criminal case of white homeowner accused of shooting black teen who went to the wrong house. A Missouri judge granted a motion Thursday to seal evidence in a criminal case against Andrew Lester, you know, the old fugly racist bastard, who allegedly shot and wounded Ralph Yarl, a black teen, after the 16-year-old went to the wrong home to pick up his siblings. Attorneys for Lester argued that media attention surrounding the case resulted in threats against their client and that the ongoing reporting may hinder his ability to get a fair hearing. Bitch, we holding him accountable. He gonna get a fair hearing. He going to jail. He going to jail. This court finds the evidence. Okay. This court finds the evidence adjudicated and supporting exhibits admitted into evidence not only compels closure, but also for good cause requires it, the judge wrote. The threats and harassment demonstrate defendant's life and physical safety are in jeopardy. He got a pew-pew. We see how good he is with a shot. He'll be fine. He'll be fine. So you telling me he thought that there was a big, scary black man at his door and he had no problem assessing and subduing the threat, but now he can't protect himself? Why don't he go fix those security cameras that were reportedly broken? Lester pleaded not guilty in April to charges of assault in the first degree and armed criminal action before being released on $200,000 bond. Ralph's family is being represented by Ben Crump, who expressed his disapproval of the judge's decision. Transparency is key here, Crump said. Far too many times, things that occur in the dark leads to the injustice being proliferated in our communities, and we don't want that to happen here. The whole world is watching Kansas City to see if there's going to be accountability and justice for this teenage kid who merely rang the doorbell. CNN has reached out to Lester's attorney for comment. I bet you need. And of course, no comment, darling. No comment. What comment would he have? You know, you can't be the big bad fucking wolf, and then all of a sudden I'm old and I'm frail and I need protection. Fuck that shit. Okay, fuck that shit. The whole damn neighborhood is protecting this goofy motherfucker's ass. The whole damn neighborhood. Before Ralph Yarl could get out of surgery, they had replaced that motherfucker's glass door and cleaned it up for him. Now, if you've been here for a while, you know I've been covering this. And y'all remember when they went to the neighborhood to interview people and they were like, I can't talk badly about him. He's my friend. They're protecting him. When Ralph Yarl was fighting for his life on that street, no one would come out and help him. They knew what it was. No one was startled or concerned that there was gunfire in their neighborhood. You don't get to be frail when accountability and consequences catch up to you. See, these white racist motherfuckers want to look at black, brown, indigenous people of color and preach to us about accountability. Be accountable for your neighborhood. Be accountable for your fellow black people. Be accountable, be accountable, be accountable. When are y'all going to be accountable? When are you going to be accountable? You always want to cry and be a damsel and be frail when you can't get away with it. And miss me with the he's old, his ass can die in prison. Because you motherfuckers don't give a damn about putting a 16-year-old in prison for allegedly stealing a backpack and then he dies. You don't care about taking decades of innocent black men's lives. And you don't give a damn if they die in prison. Just like the 17-year-old teenager with that bitch ass nurse with the bike. Where's the judge to protect him from the death threats? Where he was like, should I even go to my senior prom? Should I even go to my senior graduation? Am I going to put other people in danger? Miss me with that shit. If you're that motherfucking big and bold that you can shoot a baby, a child, someone's son, you got it. You good. Y'all always talking about you ready. We ready. Well, be ready. Now, how the hell he getting death threats? Because the motherfucker ain't online. He don't have no social media. And all the melanated folks know not to go to that neighborhood. It's a sundown street. We wouldn't want them to look at our shadow and think that it's a gang of us walking down. Ugh. Well, thank you for joining me here. It is time for me to go over to TikTok and piss off some more racists. If you don't follow me over there, make sure you follow me at CincyTaz77, CINCITAZ as in zebra, the number 7. And as always, each one reach one, each one teach one. See y'all later.